everybody, and welcome back to my channel. It's been a minute, but we're back, and to kick it off, I'm going to show you the books I read in the last 2 months. There are reasons I haven't been making videos, and most of those have to do with, you'll see pretty soon how many books I've been reading. Look, the slump hits us all. No matter if you're a 10 or a 2, the slump is gonna hit. And so it hit me. It's been a hard 2 months of reading. I read 5 books in March and 1 book in April. So literally it's just I've had nothing to talk about because I could not find something to read that was of any interest to me. But in good news, in better news, it's only like May 2nd and I've already finished 2 books this month. So May is coming in hot. We need the slump to go back up and do better, okay? The slump is good for us. And so are Cavaliers. Hi. Anywho, let's get into the books that I read for the last 2 months. Again, not a ton to talk about for this video. It's going to be a pretty quick one, but I did want to jump back into it and give you guys some updates and let you know what I've been reading. So, little life updates. I am finally back with my husband. We are getting into all kinds of trouble together, as we do. I'm currently working on planning a trip with my friends. Our 1-year anniversary is coming up for being married. Yeah, that makes you sound old, I know. So that will be fun. That's this month. And we are also going to a book signing this month. I kind of want to wait to announce who we're going to see, but let's just say I have a very kind husband to put up with me and go to this book signing with me. But anyways, let's get into the books and give you a little review on them. Why not? Okay, the first book I read this month was The Little Prince. I took clips of me reading this because I was planning on doing kind of reading outside my comfort zone, and I'm not gonna lie, I kind of think that's what put me in a slump, was trying to read books that I don't normally want to read. And I don't mean that in a bad way, it's just books that I normally wouldn't pick up, and therefore I lacked interest in them. Yeah, I don't know if it was the fact that it's a translated book and sometimes, different cultures, there are things you miss. I know it's also a children's book, but I just wasn't in love with this one. Overall, I would give it, I hate to even rate it because I just didn't like it. I would probably give it a 2.5, but there were a few things that I did like a 2.75 maybe is what I'd land on. Don't know that it'd be quite a 3 for myself. I think a 2.5 is probably pretty close to my feelings about this. It had some really beautiful parts and I think some great morals and messages. However, I also just found it pretentious. Maybe not pretentious, it just has this air of a lot of symbolism. If you liked The Alchemist, you would like this one. I'm gonna send this to my friend and he loved The Alchemist. I'm gonna give this guy to him and see what he thinks. Because I think if you like that symbolism and you like those messages and that kind of flow, you would like this. So 2.5 for me. It had a few lines that stood out to me, but otherwise it's not something I would personally recommend unless that is your type of book. Right. Next on the docket is Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. The girls will love this one. The girls do be loving this one. I ended up giving it a 3.25. Definitely had enjoyable bits and definitely had its equal amount, maybe not equal, but it definitely had some unenjoyable bits too. In this one, we are following, basically it's a hockey romance, just to give you some tropes: hockey romance, college, and forced proximity. Anastasia's a figure skater, and our main guy, Nate, is captain of the hockey team. There's vandalism done to one of the rinks, so they end up having to share ice time. And that's the forced proximity bit. Definitely loved some parts of this. It was far steamier than you would think looking at this, and I think that ended up kind of being the saving grace for me in enjoyment levels. It was like 430-ish pages, and it was too long. I think that was like honestly the hardest part about this one, because I was like, most romances do not need 400 plus pages. I stand by that. So it was a little too long. Could definitely cut it. And the epilogue, listen, before we go too far, I need to know, are you an epilogue stan, or could you do without always? Because like, I am not an epilogue girly. Probably 9 out of 10 times I would prefer to not have the epilogue. Very rarely is that necessary for the story. And the epilogue in this completely weakened the plot. It weakened our main heroine's character and who she was, and I was like, okay, like, you don't have to tie a pretty little bow on their story. Like, I was happy for it to end where it did, and we can imagine where it goes from there. Another thing that was hard on me about this book was there was a lack of trigger warnings, but she had a very toxic relationship with someone in the book, a friend in the book, and I feel like that can be hard to read for people who are experiencing that. And she also had a diet obsession, like leaning towards eating disorder problems. So I just think, like, know that going in, because I felt like I did not know about that when I picked this up, and it could definitely be hard for some people to read. So overall, it's a 3.25 from me. It was enjoyable to read. I would definitely pick up something by Hannah Grace again. I liked the characters. I felt like Nate was almost a little too much like man written by a woman, but I do love that too. So it's just like, it was enjoyable for what it was. I'd pick something else up by her, but it's not like the end all be all for me. Next, I have Under the Whispering Door by TJ Klune. If you know, you know, TJ Klune is that bitch. Really, his books are phenomenal. This one was great. I think I would give it a 4.5. Maybe a 4.75. A 4.5 feels right for this one. This is about basically, I don't want to like give too much away, and I don't know what they tell you up front. Okay. A reaper comes to collect this man's soul. He was a lawyer. He didn't do much in life. And he kind of is trying to deal with the fact that he is dead. And he's taken a Hugo who owns this odd tea shop where he helps people cross over from death, or from life into death. And so he's not really ready to abandon the life he feels like he barely lived. And so then it's all about what happens at this tea shop and getting to know the characters. I feel like TJ Klune writes beautiful characters. That really stands out to me. I loved the grandpa in this book. I think it's great for people who are grieving. I think it gives some different perspective on grief and the happiness that's also in grief. TJ Klune actually wrote in here, I'm pretty sure, like in his acknowledgments at the end, that, you know, he was grieving when he wrote this, and I think that comes across like in a good way. So I think he fulfilled that. And it was Barnes & Noble's Book of the Year. I mean, this man can really do no wrong. For me, House in the Cerulean Sea is ranked above this one, for me. But I do think, depending on what you're going through in your life, like this one could easily be a 5 for you. So definitely pick this one up. No complaints. I would tell you more about it, but I almost feel like you just, like, he can suck you in so quickly in the first few chapters, like you're sucked in. I think that's all you need to do is pick it up and start reading. Next, I listened to The Love Wager by Lynn Painter, my girl. I am a Lynn Painter stan. She often knows what's up. For me, this one ended up being a 3.5. But I still really enjoyed it. It's a bit friends to lovers, but it's kind of like one night stand to friends to lovers. I don't know. It doesn't really have forced proximity. Let's see what else. Yeah, I feel like those are kind of the tropes. for this one. It was really fun to listen to. I thought the voice actors did a great job. I found myself wanting to pick up my audiobook like every single day to get that one finished. It's actually a companion novel to Mr. Wrong Number. For me, Mr. Wrong Number was not it. I love her and I still stand Lynn Painter, but that one just didn't hit for me. I think she's starting to dabble more into adult romance, so this one definitely had more steam, but it definitely didn't feel like it was her comfort zone writing those steamy scenes. But just letting you know going into it, it's not like YA, so don't, just because she's written YA, this one is definitely adult. It was enjoyable. I thought our characters were funny and interesting, and I think it passed the time well. It was definitely a quick read, and it did what it was supposed to do. It was super enjoyable. I don't have too much more to say about that one, but I definitely enjoyed it. And the last book I have from March is The Bodyguard by Katherine Center. This one ended up getting a 3.75 for me. It was definitely super enjoyable. It has quite a few tropes in it. It has forced proximity, celebrity romance, and also I would say boss romance as well. In this book, our heroine is the bodyguard to a famous actor. However, he doesn't want his family to know that he's in any type of danger and needs a bodyguard, so she is to act as his girlfriend. So that's kind of the forced proximity element, and fake dating, obviously, as well. So this one was super fun. I really am itching to actually pick up some more books by Katherine Center. I thought this was so fun. I really liked our characters, and then towards the end we definitely had a twist that I was not expecting, so that was a little different. This one also had an epilogue. Again, yawn. I don't think the epilogue in this one ruined the story like it did in Icebreaker for me, but I just, again, felt like I didn't need to read that. It was super fun. I suggest you pick this one up if you like some fluffy romances. Right, we have finally reached that part of the video where I tell you the one book I read in April, which is kind of disappointing. It's extremely disappointing actually, because I have a 75 book reading goal. So it is definitely disappointing, but I ended up listening to the audiobook for Beyond the Wand by Tom Felton. This one definitely had its ups and downs to it. I just feel like in some parts he set out to like really for it to be about Harry Potter and what that was like for him, and I think he did a great job like being self-aware and acknowledging like the differences from what he grew up with versus what Emma Watson grew up with, and like the duplicity of those things and the duplicity of him, who he is and who his character was. I thought it had some cute stories in there too, so if you are like really into Harry Potter, you'll probably like some of those tidbits. However, at times it leaned very far into the Harry Potter realm where he was like using a lot of Potter lingo. I don't know what that would even be, like calling his cast members Gryffindorks and stuff, you know what I mean? Stuff like that, which I think some Harry Potter people might love. And then his last few chapters are really about his struggle with addiction and his struggle after Harry Potter and like in the last few years of his life. And then it kind of just ends. I just didn't love the flow of it. I don't think I didn't like him including his life struggles and like being honest about those things. I just think it was kind of like a high and then a really low low, and we didn't come back from it, you know? And maybe he isn't out of feeling those things and feeling depressed, and I totally get that too. I just think I was kind of confused at the end, like what his message was or what he wanted us to get out of reading the book. So for me, it wasn't like a favorite, but again, he reads the book, so that was cool, and he had some great anecdotal things from his time on Harry Potter. So those are all the books I have to share with you today. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope more videos are coming your way. I really plan to do some more reading this month and hopefully film some more videos. If there's something you want to see from me or anything like that, just let me know in the comments, and please let me know your opinion on epilogues, because that one's important to me. I need to know where we all stand on that one. But again, thank you for watching. I will see you in my next one.